My overlord picks my nose, puts the mucus in my mouth, swallows it. It cut my hair too short with my own hands, and then it asks me, how do I like my hair? When it does my hair, like fixes my hair 10 times a day, every day. There's something wrong with my overlord, and there's something wrong with you living off of that problem with myself. When I don't really have a problem with myself, my hair is cut too short by myself because I don't have someone else to cut my hair. So why does it bother me? Why doesn't it just say, yeah, well, my hair's too short because there's nobody here to cut my hair. There's nobody who would be elsewhere. There's nobody who would cut my hair without moving in on me and living off of me for 23 years. Fine, so my hair is cut a little too short. It shouldn't bother me. Not as much as it bothers me that somebody else used to live here. Disturb, bother me or disturb myself. The word is really disturb. So do you know how the overlord picks my nose and puts it in my mouth? For my whole life. I've been alive 45 years of alive, and my overlord is picking my nose and putting it in my mouth, and there's nowhere for me to run. It wants me to be embarrassed, but why would I be embarrassed? If not all of you are embarrassed that you have an overlord of a lord, and that's what it's doing, like a mental retard. Aren't you mentally retarded? What's it not doing when it's picking my nose? It's not pulling my nose all the way off my face. It's going right to the thought. Donna, my mom said, you have a problem with who you are. Oh, that's wishful thinking, isn't it? So then I don't have a problem with who you are, and you're not myself, is how and why. So no psychics that stuff in middle school called in mom to talk to her about herself. Because what's wrong with you psychics that know how to talk to somebody about sexual abuse and you think that it's about yourself because it's in a property in dispute, but it wasn't in dispute at the time you were talking about it elsewhere. The sexual abuse already passed. Ooh, you still want to talk about it? Who are you? Do you up in heaven talk somebody in their genitals? What is the space between heaven and somebody in their genitals talking about somebody else in genitals, and they don't have a live together, like who, what, when, where, why, and how, all aliving. But somebody knows something about somebody else in a psychic way. Did you just burp me? Say excuse me and you're sorry to the Lord. Well, it's supposed to be you, but you're an overlord right now. Should I call you? If I say I'm the Lord and you're the overlord, you say, yes, that includes myself. Or if I say I'm the Lord and you should say sorry to the Lord, you say, I'm not sorry, I'm the overlord. Yeah, well, what? How do you expect anyone to treat me like an overlord when I'm not you? I'm the Lord is off duty right now. I am the Lord off duty. I have an overlord right now who's making me feel this way. Well, friend, I have to pay medical bills for psychiatry, and now you can see something of what disturbs myself since I'm not in the psychiatry right now, well, unless I have to pay the medical bills when I'm hostage that I can't get out of being hospitalized. Well, I don't know that until I'm deceased out of the door locking, but let's say hopefully not, because Charles Toe's not here right now, or maybe he's not coming back is what it looks like. But I don't know that till I'm not here anymore myself. Uh, so I'm trying to help you to understand the U.S. dollar, whatever it is you're using of the U.S. dollar. I have enormous medical bills. I see one medical bill in year 2005. I saw another medical bill in the year 2008, but I have been hostaged in two different hospitals. Yeah, one of the hospitals was in Illinois. One of the hospitals was here in Las Vegas. Wait, there were three. Okay, I saw another hospital billing here in Las Vegas, so I saw three bills, and they're too high. They're way too high. And then I have all the other hostaging that people just put me in the hospital, and I can't be elsewhere, is because you have interest in that I was hospitalized and I saw the medical bills, and I don't have that money and pay rent with it. You have interest in that keeps putting me in the hospital involuntarily, and that's why when the police ask me if I want to go in the hospital, which is impossible, mentally impossible, but they do it, I say yes, because the medical bills have interest. The police don't really owe the money at that point because I don't know who they are. Thus, the police, being psychics and know who I am, goes into a hospital because I don't have the money to pay the charges. Well, you did that. Yeah, and then the money is so high. You charge me a whole month's rent for a night in a hospital. The police don't move the landlords that hard. Maybe there's something wrong with the police, but by the time I hear it, it's too late. And that's what I mean. The police don't move the landlords that hard by the time I hear about it, that they have to put me in a hospital. Because the rent charges are 1 month for every night I spend in the hospital. If I go into the hospital, I spend that much money in the hospital. I don't want to need the police to do that again. I'm trying to pay for it another way with the internet. And then the police call that social media. Excuse me. I know she's an overlord. She has to excuse herself and announce herself right away. Where are you going off this subject? Will you give the police the money they deserve? Whatever. I guess it's angry that way. Yeah, but she didn't pick my nose right on the camera. Not yet. My nose bleeds now when I pick the nose. Yeah, it didn't used to do that for. Okay, I picked my nose. What was the age when my nose started to bleed? When it did start, I said that's because I had surgery on my nose that's expired. Yeah, I had surgery on my nose in the year 1995, and the nose bleeding started when? I'm sorry, I don't have the exact year. I would be off by years. I'm wrong about years because my nose has been bleeding for years. I picked the nose and it bleeds for years, which is why I don't want my overlord to pick my nose. Isn't that the right thing to say? Don't pick my nose because it bleeds. So we say that's a disgusting habit, right? I don't know about the word habit, but it's a disgusting repeated uh, act, behavior, action. It's disgusting when it's repeated. You put mucus or what's in the nose in the mouth and eat it. That's not food. You don't want to put it in your mouth and eat it. So, but why do you do that as an overlord? You want me to be mentally ill? You want people to look at me that I pick my nose and I'm mentally ill when I do that? You wouldn't think that I would know that there's something mentally ill going on in my mind, and I would just think that that's wrong in my mind. And you want someone else to see me pick my nose and think there's something wrong with me. Yeah, and now you're telling everyone that I do that, and they're going to think there's something wrong with me. I don't know you this way. Thank you. So, Overlord, would you like to speak for yourself? Say, I pick my nose because. Would you please keep it to yourself that I have mental problems? Moving on to another subject. M&Ms, you want some M&Ms? Well, I would have to stand up, and I don't want to stand up. So, do any of our internet comments about the picking the nose and putting it in the mouth, are any of them going to say they want to do that too? Because I've been sexually abused, but I've not yet had somebody put their finger in my nose and then put it in their own mouth, or put it in my mouth, or just wipe it off, or wash their hands. Or do you know that you're not allowed to pick my nose? But I've been sexually abused, and the whole creation is deceased, even though I picked my own nose myself. Every time. Shut up! Oh. So we count that as emotion. Well, I need it when I need it. If you know what I mean. If I have dried mucus in my nose, I need it cleaned out. I could blow my nose. Sometimes that helps. Or I could put water in my nose. Sometimes that helps. Or if it's bleeding, I need to. I need to make it bleed and catch the blood and wash it down the sink drain. But that's only since my nose has been bleeding. So I don't know how many years that is. Is since I've been living in this apartment. Not before that, right? Okay, well, so if the nose bleeding started in this apartment, it was since the year 2013, 2014. So it's 2025 now. It was sometime in the past 11 years. I guess I didn't have that problem. Do you know the police moved me out of an apartment? Yeah, I don't want the landlord to hit me in the nose and then I have permanent nose bleeding problem. That's not how that happened. The nose surgery was already in place for, from 1995 until 2015, so 20 years. I already had my nose surgery for 20 years before the bleeding. Yeah, that's what I think caused it. I'm not going to blame that I had to move to this apartment and then it's been bleeding in this apartment. That's true that it's been bleeding here, but it's what's wrong with it. I also, Ross and Neil Hospital, I reported it to there, but they don't know what to do about a nosebleed with all the people in psychiatry in the hospital. I mean, I really need to be in my own private room in a hospital because of the nose bleeding. I don't afford to be around the other people because it's constantly threatening that somebody hit me in the nose and it's bleeding. Uh, and that's my overlord. You pick my nose and bleed my nose in public. You're not supposed to do that. Well, I want to feel, but I want the relief. If I feel that I need to pick the nose, I want the relief. But is that you doing that? I don't want to be created anymore. You're making me uncomfortable. The Power of Gold is a song by Dan Fogelberg. Um, that's an old one. Is he not alive? Like he never did alive, but how does he have the name and he's singing? You know how some of the music is from the times, let's say 1970s. There's only the world arriving in the years 1980s and onwards, 1980 and onwards. So if Dan Fogelberg was singing about the year 1970s, I don't know where he is in alive because the recording's not alive and alive. Um, the power of gold. He said something about reincarnation in the Power of Gold song. And I wanted to make that statement point for somebody named Sheila, with who she did drive a Mazda car when I knew her in Tucson, Arizona in the year 2000, 2001. She asked me about reincarnation and past life therapy, and she accepted a money contract with myself for her time, but I didn't get that. The reason I wanted to see her was not because I wanted to talk about past life therapy. It's because I had a headache and I wanted to know what she could do to help me with my headache. And she charged me money. And then when I went into the hospital, I went into the emergency room about my headache because it was going on and on and on. The emergency room charged me over $1,000 for the consultation just to tell them I had a headache, and they sent me out of the hospital with nothing. They didn't give me a prescription, they didn't give me anything, and I don't know what's wrong with that. Because I don't know heaven right there. Why are you charging me money and I still have a headache? You want me to go around everywhere and see if anyone can make my headache better? You want me to stay home so that I don't tell anybody I have a headache and it won't cost me any extra money? Well, where do I live? Because I don't live there anymore. Isn't that what's wrong with you? I had a headache from the time I met Howard Chayton. He said to me, I want sex. It's just what I need. And then he dropped me off. He was the driver. He dropped me off where he picked me up at Helen's apartment. I went into the apartment. I closed the door. And after I set everything down, like my purse down, and I just sat down, I got a headache right there. And it didn't stop until it didn't stop for about, I want to say about 8 months or 9 months. And I'm look at how there's a month different there, and that's too much time. The headache was tick, 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 so intense pain. And if I tell you it was an 8 months of a headache or 9 months of a headache, it made a big difference that would have been a whole month in between there. Between 8 months and 9 months, that I had a headache that's too much pain. I can't take it. It was so much pain. And I try to tell a lot of people that I had a headache, and that's true that Sheila charged me how many checks. I had personal checks for her time because she didn't have a solution for my headache, but I wanted my headache to get better. There's something wrong with me that I kept seeing Sheila and giving her checks for $30 or $40 to tell her that I had a headache at the apartment where I was living, or she got an office later. And then, I don't know, is that what the checks are for? Are you charging me money for that I have a headache? This you need to be shot with a gun. But I can't record that while I'm alive. Yes, Sheila, you have to be shot with a gun. You are someone who needs to be shot with a gun by somebody else, not myself. I'm the one with the headache. I don't owe that I fight with you. Yes, I give you money because I have a headache, because I don't owe that I fight with you. It's not no to you from me. It's no to you from everybody who's not yourself to yourself except me. I'm the one who has a headache. And you are the people you owe that you don't take money from me for any reason. And if you take it, I can't stop you. It is my money. You're taking cash and it's my money to me. If you take cash from me and it's my money to me, it's true I don't have it for food that way. You wouldn't give me money for food? Why don't you say it out loud? I don't care about your headache. I'm not going to give you any money for food. And don't come back. Next, I need the next person. I couldn't have a headache and get consultations from different people that because you take the money, you come back and you want more money, you take the money, you want more money, you take the money, you want more money. You don't actually take the money and leave because you took money because it was wrong to you. You take the money, you spend it on yourself, and you come back and you want more money, like that you've been hired. And it's not true. This Sheila, I don't have her paid for. I told her that I had a headache. She came back again and again. She took more money from someone who had a headache. That means I have a headache. I actually have a disability. I can't help you with money. Do you need money? You need to go to somebody who's healthy. wealthy and take their wallet and run away with it. You can't actually just take money from somebody who has a headache and say, I hope this makes you feel better. I hope you feel better next time. I hope you feel better after this. Next time when I come back for more money. That's you having to come back to somebody who's ill and get money out of an ill person. Is that what's going on in America? Is everybody who is ill getting money out of somebody else who's ill? Or are you employment and you're getting money out of somebody else who's ill? So you're a doctor and you're employed and you're getting money out of somebody who's ill. No one can afford that. I don't afford it right here. I'm talking about Sheila, who said she asked me about past life therapy while she was talking to me about that I had a headache and approximately ignoring. Approximately. Are you going to bend over and what? Fuck you! I don't want my overlord. I don't know what an overlord is. I don't know what it does for a living. Are you an overlord and you have sex with me? I don't know what you do for a living as an overlord and I don't want to have sex with you. If she catches me while I'm laying on my back waiting to fall asleep, I guess there's nowhere to run. But she's not one of you that runs away with your shoes and tells everybody that I asked you for myself and everything that moves for myself, that I need that for myself. But what you really wanted to know is if I'm going to burn in all of eternity for that. You don't care about me because I'm not yourself. I will burn for some of eternal life, but not for all of it, because that's what eternity is. It's when I shut you down out of my eternity. I want an overlord that can do that. Thank you. I had to say the word that twice. I want an overlord that can do that. I want an overlord that can acknowledge the pain and the trauma that you are from the pain, that you give me pain with the trauma that you are. I would like an overlord that acknowledges my pain, but not one that's creating the pain for me while you're out and about, spending my money on yourselves. Do you have money? It's not your money, it's my money. It's due frozen in the bank, and that's how you don't ask me whose money it is. If you have a credit line that's MasterCard or Visa or American Express or Discover, do you want your money? You still want your money after you see this kind of trouble that I am to myself? You still think it's not my money and you're just seeing somebody on TV or on the internet. Yeah, you're seeing somebody on the internet. Oh, well, next you're going to watch something else. That's you not knowing how to say that it's not your money, or why. You don't know why you should say it's not your money. And you don't spend money anymore. Oh, are you going to buy, you're going to have something to eat after this because it's not your food. It's not your house. It's not your money. It's not your food. Are you going to come here and say, I'll have what you're having. I'll have all this. And then everything else is mine after that. That's you needing to go to the police and pick that fight with a police officer. You don't understand that. It's so hard. I want to see you in the afterlife about the order, but I hear that everyone's going out of alive and they're not going to know what they did wrong when they were in their genitals. They're just not going to know. You're just not going to know what you did wrong when you were in your genitals. That was when you were in genitals. You don't know anymore after that. I don't have genitals that way. You wouldn't accept that answer out of me if I had $1 of yours from your point of view. If you argued that you had a motion of $1 and I took it away from you, you would not let me have it. You don't know whose dollar it is that you're fighting over with your own self, because you have alive with this body and that body. I'm the Godhead that alives you. You have alive in there because you illegally alived yourself. If I was holding $1 and you took it out of my hand, that would be your motion that you have $1 in your hand from me. It went from here to over there. That's your motion doing that. You just did something with $1 with yourself. It's still my dollar when you do that. It's my $1 here and it's my $1 over there, and it cost me $1 to get it back is not true. It cost me $6 million of yourself deceased to myself to get that $1 out away from you. And when you cash it in and you spend it on a Snickers bar, you're not funny to anyone in heaven. Nobody thinks that.